Hey guys, it's Chris Thompson. You're listening to the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips Podcast.
Tell it how it is. Father and son, boy, it's never been did. Oops, I'm not done. We all about the fun. Trying to be the one, not another bum. So, fantasy football tips. Probably win one, maybe 2 or 3 ships. Oops, I'm at Hun. Eli is the one. Tyler makes the sum. Belowski and it's done. Boom.
This is the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips Podcast, Season 3, Episode 41. I am your host, Tyler Belowski.
I'm your other host, Eli Belowski.
And before we get started, we want to thank Chris Thompson from the Washington Redskins, running back. Chris, thank you so much for that intro. It was awesome to meet him, Eli, again down at the NFFC down in Fort Worth earlier this summer. Eli, he's about as tall as me, a little like 6 foot or so. But he was pretty sweet. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, really meeting any NFL player, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You've met a couple of Buffalo Bills guys, though.
Yeah,
AJ McCarron and Tyrod.
Yeah, I've met Josh Allen, Tremaine Edmonds. I went to training camp 2 years in a row for the Bills. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Charles Clay too, I think, right?
Yeah, Charles Clay.
So that's pretty cool. It is really cool to meet NFL players or a basketball player. The sport that you follow. That's pretty cool. So again, Chris, thank you so much for that intro. Eli, we got some big announcements to make throughout this this podcast. Not so much announcements, but news and information. Big signings, big injuries, big cuts. So let's get right into it. We're going to do our nines. It's news, notes, information, entertainment, and stats, Eli. Let's just get it right going. Breaking news as we started the podcast. Josh Gordon is going to be cut by the Cleveland Browns, Eli. That is huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, there's so many teams that could pick him up. Realistically, Houston could pick him up because of, like, he could be the number 2, 3 there with Will Fuller and Hopkins because they need a tight end.
Exactly.
Well, they don't have a tight end, so he would help.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about this too. He wasn't going to play this week because he was injured, and then also so now they're going to cut him probably for some other unknown reason. You don't really cut a player because he's injured. But Eli, I thought about this too. Seattle Seahawks need another wide receiver.
Yeah, because Doug Baldwin's out.
Yeah, Doug Baldwin is not going to be playing Monday night. So yeah, definitely get him out of your starting lineup along with Josh Gordon. You don't want to start any of those guys this week. Keep Josh Gordon for this week, maybe next week. Just
in case he gets signed quick, or. But yeah, I wouldn't really keep him after week 5.
Yeah, by week 4 or 5, you definitely want to cut him. He's not going to be signed up after that. But Seattle could definitely use him. They need a wide receiver, like you said. Houston, maybe even Cincinnati, team him up with AJ Green. That'd be nice. Or even Arizona, him and Fitzgerald. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Dallas needs one. Then we could just go on.
Yeah, definitely. Another huge signing. In a sense, for this player is Martavis Bryant got signed back with the Oakland Raiders. That's pretty good for him. They did cut him in the preseason, but it looks like they need wide receiver help, so they brought him back. As far as fantasy, he's still going to be a week 3 or flex bye-week filler for now.
Yeah, especially just behind Jordy Nelson and Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really start him.
No, definitely not now. Maybe
because even Cooper had like 5 points last week.
Yeah, it was a bad week for the Raiders. And then also coming out of the Thursday night game, Bengals and Ravens, Joe Mixon, running back for the Bengals, is going to be out the next 2 to 3 weeks with a knee. He's having knee surgery, I believe, or scoping or whatever. They're going to clean out his knee a little bit. So he's going to be shut down for the next couple of weeks. So get Gio Bernard in that lineup if you have him. At least put him on your bench.
Yeah, definitely. I probably wouldn't pick up Gio just because I don't really trust Gio enough for fantasy-wise. Just because they'll probably rely on that pass game now a little bit more. So I wouldn't pick up Gio. You would.
I would definitely pick him up. I mean, if anything, he's the only running back there now. They got rid of Jeremy Hill, so he's going to get the bulk of the carries. So if you need, if you had Joe Mixon, pick him up and you can replace him in there. But hopefully you draft a little bit better than Gio Bernard, that you'd have a better third running back than Gio. And then quickly going through some major injuries. Most of them are game time decisions, so hopefully when you're listening to this Sunday morning, you will already know this by game time. But Rex Burkhead has been in and out of concussion protocol, so he's going to be a game time decision for you. I would put him on your bench just to be safe. However, Jeremy Hill is done for this season with a torn ACL, so you can't put him in. But the other counterpart in New England, Sony Michael, is also a game-time decision in New England. I would not start either one of those guys, Burkhead or Michael.
No, definitely not. And no one really in the AFC North besides Josh Gordon, which we already said.
Yep.
Moving on to the AFC South, wide receivers for the Texans, DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. Both leg injuries, but they're a game time decision. They'll probably play.
Yeah, just a minor bump and bruise, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you probably saw Leonard Fournette had a hamstring. He had some trouble with his hamstring early in the second quarter, I think. He left the game, didn't come back, but he should be able to play. But just in case, I would keep him on your lineup, but don't expect 20 points out of him.
Yeah, definitely not. And he will be a game time decision. When we get to our sit starts, I would still start him until kickoff. So pay attention to those pregame shows if he's starting. Marcus Mariota, he's going to be also a game time decision with an elbow soreness, but he most likely will play. And then Eli, give us some. Nope, I guess I will do it. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Hit the cough button. Okay. All right. So tell us about Delanie Walker, Eli.
Delanie Walker, he is out for the season, which stinks because I just looked at one of my drafts and I have him as my second tight end. But moving on to the AFC West, Marshawn Lynch, really, he's a shoulder game time decision. Really, he's probably going to play.
Yeah, he'll play.
I wouldn't start him, though, just based on last week and now the slight injury.
Yeah,
I wouldn't start him.
If you had Joe Mixon, he's your third running back. Obviously, I'd start Lynch over Gio Bernard. But Lynch would be a halfway decent start. I don't have who they are playing in front of me right now. But let's quickly look. They are playing Denver. So it's a hit or miss. I mean, Cincinnati already played, so you can't play Gio this week, so maybe put in Lynch. Going back to Delanie Walker, he has a broken ankle, so yeah, he's not playing the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Sterling Shepard for the New York Giants, he's another back injury type thing. He's a game time decision, but he should be in there. Again, Carson Wentz is not going to play this week with that knee injury, probably week 3 or 4, but we'll keep you posted on that.
But Nick Foles wants Carson Wentz to succeed, so he'll gladly come out for Carson Wentz to go. He said, I'm pretty sure he said, like, a win for him is a win for me. So he's pretty excited about Wentz coming in.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
He's not going to, like, debate with the coaches or anything
to
get more playing
time.
Yeah,
he's not that type of guy who would do that. Like, hey, let's put the best player in there so we can win. And, that way he doesn't have to get hit by any of those linebackers anymore.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the Green Bay Packers. Semi-huge injury for Devontae Adams. It's just a shoulder injury. He's day-to-day, game-time decision. He should be good to go. Even though they're playing against that tough Minnesota defense, you have no problem plugging him in and playing. However, Aaron Rodgers, with that knee injury from last Sunday night against the Chicago Bears, he is definitely a game-time decision. I haven't seen anything up to date to this, as in it's a yes or no. So definitely keep your eyes on that pregame show. If he starts, go for it. It is a 1 o'clock game, so be ready to go on your sit starts for that. And as we already mentioned, Doug Baldwin will be not playing Monday night against the Chicago Bears. He is out with a knee injury. And half of that defense, Eli, too, is out with an injury. So maybe you get some of those Chicago Bears in their offense starting.
Yeah,
and we'll get to that in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's some of your 9s. It's news, info, notes, entertainment, stats. There's a little more than 9, but that's what we like to call it.
A lot more than 9, but yeah.
But keep you up on those late last-minute injuries as you're going to be listening to this Sunday morning before kickoff. All right, let's go through our sit starts for the games. We'll start with the Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, the Panthers, you start Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey, and Devin Funchess. I did skip one, Eli. Greg Olsen is probably going to not be playing this week, so I would not put him in. He is dealing with an ankle or foot injury. He is out indefinitely. I forgot that one on my list. So don't start Greg Olsen, but get everyone else in. Eli, who are you going to start for Atlanta Falcons?
Falcons, I mean, you have to start Julio Jones this week because he's Julio Jones.
Yep.
And Devontae Freeman, that's all
He
I'm
is actually not going to be playing. I forgot that one too. Sorry about that. He is not playing this week. So Tevin Coleman would be your starting quarterback or running back.
No, I'm not. I'm only starting Julio this week.
Only Julio against Carolina?
And even then, no.
Well, you're going to start Julio Jones. You
have to.
You have to start him.
He's your first-round pick.
Yeah, I'm personally starting Tevin Coleman because he's going to get those PPR points for you, and he's going to get all the carries in that game. Los Angeles Chargers, I'm going to go Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, and Keenan Allen, and that's about it. And
start their defense.
That defense and their kicker against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Eli, who are you going to start, if anyone, in Buffalo?
No, McCoy. You kind of have to, like Julio, but he's probably like your number 2 running back unless you went 2 receivers.
Yeah.
But also start that Carolina defense.
Yeah, I mean, the running game isn't that strong in Atlanta now that they don't have the two-headed monster. Buffalo, you're not going to start Josh Allen, obviously, the rookie quarterback. Actually, Nathan Peterman's going to start again. They said they want Peterman to start the first 4 games.
They said that they're starting. Well, the head coach, Sean
McDermott.
Yeah, McDermott. He said that they're starting Josh Allen.
Oh, is he? Okay. Maybe I misread that then. That's fine. Either way, you're not going to start either quarterback.
No.
Don't start either one. And obviously, any receivers, not really. Not until the bye weeks. You're not going to start. Charles Clay, if you stream running tight ends. But even then, against that Los Angeles Chargers defense, you're not starting them. Eli, give me the Minnesota Vikings you're going to start.
Minnesota Vikings against Green Bay. I'm going to start Adam Thielen, Steph Diggs, Kirk Cousins, even against that defense, and Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook.
Forgot.
So pretty much all your major starters there that you would have drafted. Green Bay.
Don't start any defense in this game.
Yeah, no, it's going to be it's going to be a shootout or it's going to be 3-6. So
I don't think it's going to be 3-6.
Yeah, it's a 1:00 game. I wish that was the 8:00 game or the Monday night game. That's going to be a really good game. Aaron Rodgers again. Start him if he plays. If he doesn't, you better have a backup ready to go. Devontae Adams, definitely get him in there again if he plays, and he should. Jimmy Graham, get him in there. Randall Cobb had a huge game last week.
Don't start him.
No, I'm going to say start him because he'll be finding over the middle. Geronimo Allison, Eli, huge game.
He had a giant
game. He's kind of not quite ready to start this week just because he's kind of a week 3 flex bye-week guy. But if he keeps bye-week filler. So if he keeps getting those big games, you want to get him in there, pick him up. Maybe not want to start him this week.
Yeah, you called it though. In the beginning of the season, you said that Geronimo Allison was going to have a big year.
I did. On my article for AcrossTheFantasyPond.com. Go back, check those out. My newest article is the injury report for week 2 that we kind of read off a little bit now. So check those out and subscribe and everything on Twitter. AcrossTheFantasyPond.com. It's a great website, guys. Check them out. Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans. Eli, who do you have for Houston?
I am going to start Deshaun Watson, obviously. Lamar Miller, even. DeAndre Hopkins, not Will Fuller just because of that injury. And even then, probably not.
Yeah, he's a bye-week filler.
I'd start that defense. J.J. Watt is back and he's ready to roll. He had a couple takedowns last week on Tom Brady, so start that defense. And then Tyrann Mathieu, too.
Yeah, and for Tennessee, you're going to start Dion Lewis because I think it's going to be a passing offense for that Tennessee team this week. Derrick Henry, if you have to, he's pretty upset, so maybe they're going to get him the ball a little bit more. So if you have that second running back, maybe a second flex, get him in there. As far as any of the receivers and quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota, Corey Davis, don't start any of those guys this week.
No.
That Houston defense is too good, and you could probably find somebody else other than Corey Davis or Rasheed Matthews. Cleveland Browns versus the New Orleans Saints. Cleveland, you're going to start Jarvis Landry. and Carlos Hyde. That's all I would have for them. Maybe David Njoku if you have them. I'm not starting Tyrod this week. Eli, would you start Tyrod?
No, just because it's against that Saints defense.
Yeah, that Saints defense is getting pretty good. Unless you flex or stream a quarterback, even though he had a huge game last week as point-wise, not in real life. But New Orleans Saints, Eli, who are you going to start?
I'm going to start like all your basic starters because that defense isn't enough against the Saints.
So Breeze, Kamara, and Thomas. That's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
Maybe Ted Ginn if
start that defense.
Yeah, it's Cleveland. I mean, they don't have Josh Gordon now anymore, so their second receiver is no one because they got rid of Corey Coleman. So now that the passing game is going to be even weaker. Miami Dolphins, New York Jets. I'm not starting anyone.
Crowell
and Bio Powell. That's about it.
No, not Bio.
Sam Darnold is. I think he just got a lucky break last week against the Detroit Lions. I am not starting him.
I don't know against Miami. I'd do it in like a deep, if you stream a flex quarterback.
Yeah, super flex maybe. Yeah, but maybe I'd start that Jets defense too.
No.
Well, they're playing against Miami.
Miami won last week though against the Titans.
That's true. I guess you'd want to start Kenyon Drake for the Miami Dolphins because you drafted him probably within the first three rounds. I mean,
probably.
So he's like the only one I'm really looking at. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Eli, you got the Steelers, so who are you taking? Who are you starting?
I'm not starting Bell.
Bell did not report again, so he's done for this week.
Yeah. I'm gonna start James Conner. As my flex. Probably.
He's a solid 2 flex. Yeah. Yep.
Especially against that that iffy Kansas City defense. And I'm gonna start Brown, obviously Juju.
Big Ben, Boswell.
Yeah,
I'd start that defense. I would personally start that defense.
I would not. I think Kansas City's going to win this week. And
Wow, a little sneak peek there. Kansas City, you're going to start Patty Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, obviously, Sammy Watkins possibly as a flex. Tyreek Hill had a huge game last week, I think, with a kickoff or punt return.
Yeah, punt return, 97-yarder or 87-yarder.
Yeah, so get him in there, and that's about it. Oh, Travis Kelce. Even though he had a horrible game last week. He had like 4 or 5 points.
They were playing the Chargers.
Yeah, so that may have a little...
And he was too focused on Hill in the running game.
Exactly. All right, so Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, I would not start Ryan Fitzpatrick this week. I think he just got a lucky break, and especially against that Philly defense, Eli. So really only for Tampa Bay, I'm starting Mike Evans, and that's about it. There's no
Deshaun Jackson and Deshaun Jackson. I mean, he does have a minor concussion, but he might play. He probably will play.
Yeah, if you have a flex or 2 flexes, possibly. But that Philly defense is going to be pretty tough to beat this week.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, Nick Foles, if you have to start a flex position. Jay Ajayi, I think he'll turn it around this week. He didn't do too great last week, but he'll do good this week. Zach Ertz and obviously Alshon Jeffrey if he goes ahead and plays.
I don't think he will, so I wouldn't start him.
Yeah, so keep an eye on him for the game time decision for Alshon Jeffrey. That defense, I'd start the Philly defense for sure against Tampa Bay.
All right, Indianapolis at the Redskins. Indianapolis, I'm going to start the Andrew Luck this week.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Against the defense, I would. I mean, he had a pretty good game.
Yeah, and it's Andrew Luck. I mean,
1 or 2 touchdowns.
Sure. So. I mean, he's a solid number 1 quarterback. So yeah, you got to start him.
As long as he's healthy. I'm not going to start any running backs there. Because Marlon Mack is a game time decision.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back, but because he's missed all preseason with an injury, I don't think he's going to get too much work this week. Look for him for next week, if not week 4. And T.Y. Hilton, definitely get him in your lineup as a 2 or a flex.
Definitely.
That's where you probably drafted him. How, Eli, you'd start that Colts defense. I'm going to go ahead.
I'm not going to start that Colts defense.
Isn't that what you said?
No, I said I'll start Luck
against that defense. I, however, going to say start the Redskins defense against that Colts offense because I don't think they're going to be able to move that ball.
Well, then you're not going to win this week.
You're probably right. Hopefully, because we have him on one of our teams.
Oh.
So at Washington, you're going to start Alex Smith, Adrian Peterson. Why not fire him up?
Yeah, he's been doing. He got his 100th touchdown last week.
Nice. So he got 104 this week.
Hopefully.
Chris Thompson, because I think they'll get a passing game going, Alex Smith, as I said. Jordan Reed, he's still healthy, so get him out there. And Josh Crowder there.
Yeah,
Jameson
Crowder.
Jamison Crowder. After that, I wouldn't really worry about any of the other receivers. Eli, here comes another one. The Los Angeles Rams and the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are going to be pretty easy. The two players you're going to start are?
Larry Fitzgerald and David Johnson.
And that's it. All right, so the Rams. That was pretty easy.
Yeah. Rams, you're going to start Jared Goff. You're going to start Todd Gurley. Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp as a flex.
Yep. And Robert Woods, definitely.
Definitely.
There's going to be a ton of points scored. So
their kicker and their defense.
And their defense. Perfect. That game
defense, I'm calling it, is going to have a touchdown this week.
They'll have a touchdown, 4 sacks, and 2 picks.
Okay, sure. I'm not gonna put that much money down. But,
yeah, right.
I'm just gonna say they have a touchdown.
Okay.
And a pick, and 2 sacks.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay.
All right. Detroit Lions, San Francisco 49ers. I'm gonna start Matthew Stafford, Kerryon Johnson, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones. And that's about it for Detroit. I wouldn't even start that defense. They got blown up last week against
and they're playing
the
San
Jets.
Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. They started off with a pick 6, first play of the game. But after that, they went downhill.
Well, Golden Tate had that touchdown,
Mm-hmm.
but
well, that's not the defense, yeah. San Francisco, I'm not really starting anyone in San Francisco.
Oh,
who are you going to start?
Jimmy G against that defense.
Maybe as a super flex.
Super flex.
I'm not starting him over Tom Brady.
Well,
I'm just saying. I'm not, well, yeah, but I don't like.
Why would anyone?
Well, first of all, I didn't like
everybody?
First of all, I didn't like Jimmy G in the very beginning of the season. I'm not going to start liking him now. So
yeah,
you guys start,
especially with last game.
Yeah, so start proving it to me, Jimmy, and I'll start you. Oakland Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Oakland, maybe Derek Carr if you have to. He did not look good last week.
No.
Marshawn Lynch again. Watch for the game time decision. Amari Cooper, and you kind of have to because you drafted him in the first 3 rounds. He'll get you He'll get you PPR points. That's about it.
Yeah, but first 3 rounds. Ugh.
Well, maybe 4. Denver Broncos. Demaryius Thomas. Emmanuel Sanders had a huge game last week.
Yeah, I'm glad I started him.
Yeah. Not really, though. You didn't.
Oh, yeah, I did.
This week you did.
Other league. One of my leagues.
Yeah, so Emmanuel Sanders, get him in there. And
this
the running,
week I'm starting.
that running game is still up in the air because Freeman didn't do a whole lot. Booker didn't do anything, but they had this new kid come in. I can't even think of his name right now. But he blew up, so that Denver running game is not looking good. I'd start that Denver defense, though.
No. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, against the Oakland Raiders. All right, Eli, give me your starters for the Patriots and Jacksonville. Most likely, maybe the game of the week.
No.
It's getting there. It's pretty close.
I don't know.
It's pretty close. All right, who do you got?
Okay. New England, you're gonna start Tom Brady. You're gonna start Gronk, obviously, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, that Jackson defense is gonna shut them down. I think. I mean, it's Tom Brady. They did beat him last year in the playoffs, but
that's because the refs.
That and their passing game is better last year. I mean, they have no one this year. Edelman's out. Chris Hogan. That's about it. So.
No, I mean the Patriots won because the refs were in their favor.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about this week. Yeah, I'm talking about this week. I mean, Tom Brady and Gronk. That's about it.
Yeah, they don't have a running game.
Yeah. So who are you going to start for Jacksonville?
Jacksonville, I'm going to start Fournette because first 2 rounds you drafted him.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's healthy, he's going to start. You want to get him in there.
Yeah. I'd start that defense even.
Yeah, that's a good choice. And that's about it.
That's it, yeah.
Maybe that's about it. And against New England defense, yeah, that's about it. The New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys is the 8 o'clock game on NBC. Giants, obviously, you're going to start Barkley. He didn't do so great last year, but you took him in the first round. You got to start Barkley. Beckham Jr., get him in there. Evan Ingram, because he's a top 5 tight end. And
I'd start Manning.
I'd start Manning against that defense. Sure, he always has a great game against Dallas.
Yeah, and this one's in Arlington, so even better.
Even better for him. And then, if he goes and you have a flex position, get Sterling Shepard in there too. Dallas, you're going to start Zeke, obviously, and that's probably about it.
Yeah.
Maybe that defense too, because it's a great rival game.
Well, I think New York's going to blow them out this week.
I think you're probably right. because I think they have the ball more because Dallas will have to kick a lot.
Punt.
Punt a lot.
But they don't have Dan Bailey, so that's gonna hurt them.
That hurt the field goal game, yeah, for sure. All right, the Monday night game is the Seattle Seahawks against the Chicago Bears. Obviously, we already told you do not start Doug Baldwin. If you're playing me and I don't like him, so start him. Okay, start Doug Baldwin. I would enjoy that W. Don't start Doug Baldwin, but start Russell Wilson, obviously, and that's probably about it. I've heard other people.
Jimmy Graham isn't on the Seahawks.
Yeah, and they don't really have a running game quite yet. I heard a couple people on I've heard a couple people talk about, well, Tyler Lockett's going to have a huge game and Brandon Marshall because Baldwin's not there, but I'm not starting them against that Chicago defense. That Chicago defense is
I think Lockett will have a good game, but I'm not going to start him.
Not against the Chicago Bears, no way.
Not against Mack, who had a pick 6, and he's a defensive lineman.
Lineman, yeah.
Well, yeah.
But, end. He plays the end.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears, Mitch Trubisky probably, since that defense is pretty weak now. That banged up. Jordan Howard, obviously. Tariq Owen, if you have to. And
we have to in one of our leagues.
Yep, Allen Robinson, Trey Burton, and that's it for the Chicago Bears. The defense for sure. That's our set starts. Let's move on to our next section. Eli was going to do our pick'ems. Last week we had 2 awesome guests on. It's my other sons, Matthew and Parker, and Eli's brothers, obviously. And because they're a huge hit, we're going to bring them back this week for more pick'ems. So let's bring in Parker and Matthew for our pick'ems. Guys, how's it going tonight? Matthew, how's it going?
Good. Nice to meet you again, guys.
Hey, Parker, how's it going, buddy? I cut you off. Sorry. How you doing?
It's okay.
You doing good?
Yeah.
You excited? You ready to do these pick'ems?
Yep.
Matthew, you ready to do some pick'ems?
Yeah.
All right, just remember, just tell us who you want to win. If you know a couple players, tell us that maybe that's why you want to have them win. Guys, again, we're a family fun oriented podcast. The brothers, Matthew is 8, Parker is
turning 6.
Don't look at me like I don't know how old you are, boy. He's gonna be turning 6 pretty soon. They love football. They love the podcast. So we just want to bring them on real quick for some pick'ems. Eli was over here. He just turned 11. Again, I know how old you guys are. I barely know how old I am. All right, so here we go. Guys, we're going to start with Matthew. Matthew, Carolina Panthers or the Atlanta Falcons?
I think I'll go with Atlanta.
All right. Parker?
Atlanta.
Eli?
I think Carolina's going to pull away this week.
I'm going to go with your brothers, and I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons. It's in Atlanta. If it was in Carolina, I'd go the other way.
It's not a clean sweep.
It's not a clean sweep. You're correct. All right, the Los Angeles Chargers at the Buffalo Bills. Eli, who do you got?
Chargers. Close.
Close?
Of course.
Of course.
You can go to someone else.
Okay, I'm going to pick the Los Angeles Chargers to smoke and crush the Buffalo Bills by 25 points.
At least.
Matthew, Chargers or Bills?
I think I'll go with Los Angeles.
The Chargers and Parker.
Chargers.
Oh, and then that would be called a
clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
You said a queen.
Okay, next game, the Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. Parker.
Green Bay.
All right, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers also.
Same thing. Eli?
Minnesota.
It's not fun.
I know, right?
Not a clean sweep.
Not a clean sweep. All right, Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. Parker, Tennessee Titans or
Houston.
All right, Matthew.
Hard decision. I have no idea. I think I'll go with Houston.
All right, Eli.
Definitely Houston.
I'm going to go Houston also.
Clean sweep?
Clean sweep.
Yeah.
All right, I think this is going to be an easy game to pick. Cleveland Browns versus the New Orleans Saints. Eli.
Saints.
Matthew?
Wow, I think everyone mixed this up. I think I'll go with the Browns.
Oh, you can go for the upset and pick the Browns?
Yeah. Upset.
I'm going to go with the Saints also. Yeah.
It could happen.
Me too.
I could see that happen.
I'm going to go with...
You going to go with the Saints? I think that's what you said. Yeah, Parker.
Wait, clean sweep?
No, it was not a clean sweep. Matthew picked the upset with the Browns. All right, this is going to be probably one of the worst games of the week. At least in real life. Maybe I guess it could be good for fantasy points if they blow up. But Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets. Parker. Miami Dolphins. Matthew.
I don't know.
You want me to come back to you real quick?
Wait, I know.
Miami Dolphins and New York Jets.
I think in New York.
You're going to go with the Jets?
No,
Yeah.
Come on, Matthew.
All right,
No.
Eli?
Jets.
I'm going to go with the Jets also.
No.
Clean sweep?
No.
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 Close.
Who picked the
would-
Dolphins?
Parker.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. All right, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Matthew.
I think I'll go Kansas City.
All right, Parker.
You can come back to me.
All right, I'll come back to you. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Eli. You already said
Chiefs, but I'm thinking about it.
it could be another tie. Could you imagine back-to-back weeks of a tie?
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. I wonder
I'm
if
gonna go Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is really good against Kansas City, even with flashy Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
I
Same
think
with Eli.
you're going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yep.
All right, I think if that game was in Kansas City, Eli, I think it'd be Kansas City better.
yeah. It's good that it's in Heinz.
Yeah, so we got 3 Steelers and a Chief, right, Matthew? You said Chiefs?
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. You have
I
2
know.
upsets right there. All right, Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Philadelphia.
Parker with the Eagles. Eli.
Eagles.
Matthew.
Eagles.
Oh, that's a
Clean sweep.
clean sweep. Parker, you got it. All right, Indianapolis Colts, Washington Redskins. I'm going to go with the Redskins. Parker.
You can come back to me.
All right, Matthew.
I don't know. I think Indianapolis.
You're going to go with the Colts?
Yeah.
All right, Eli
I'm gonna go Washington.
and Parker. Colts or Washington?
Colts.
All right.
2-2.
All right.
All right, next game. Starting the 4:00 games. Arizona Cardinals versus Los Angeles Rams.
I think
Dad.
I think I know.
I'm going to go with the Rams.
Okay, Matthew.
Lambs.
Parker.
Lambs.
DJ.
What'd you say, Parker?
Lambs.
Rams, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rams too.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
I have one thing
All
about
right,
Tampa
What?
Bay. Okay, never mind.
All right, Matthew said
okay.
never mind.
Okay. Detroit versus San Francisco. Parker.
Detroit.
Oh,
Eli.
nice. Matthew.
I think San Francisco.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna go with San Francisco also.
I'm going to go with the Lions.
Oh,
The Detroit Lions.
upset.
Yep.
All right, next game: Oakland Raiders versus Denver Broncos. Tyler.
I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Broncos too. Matthew.
I think I'll go with the Broncos.
Uh-oh, Parker.
And Parker.
Broncos.
Clean
sweep.
sweep. Nice. All right, the New England Patriots versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville.
All right, Parker won the Jacksonville. Look at
Yep.
that, Matthew.
I think Jacksonville.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the New England Patriots.
Oh.
Eli.
I'm gonna go with the Jags.
Oh.
I think they'll pull it off.
Yeah. Oh, it's in
Yeah.
Jacksonville. It is in Jacksonville, so that helps.
Yeah, that helps. Next game, the Sunday night game. New York Giants versus Dallas Cowboys. Tyler.
Giants.
Matthew.
That's just because I'm not a Giants fan. I think they really will beat them.
Yes.
All right, Matthew. Sorry.
I really want the Dallas to win, but since they're facing the Giants, I think I'll go with the Giants.
Yeah. So you want the
Giants.
Cowboys to win, but you think the Giants will.
Yeah.
Yep. I can
Yeah,
see that.
okay.
You're a Giant. You're a
Giants.
Bills or Cowboys fan. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
I'm gonna
Parker.
go with Giants.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Clean sweep?
go with the Giants too.
Clean sweep. And for the last game Monday night, the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
Matthew.
It looks like a really good game. I don't know who will win.
All right, we'll come back to you. Eli.
I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Parker.
I know. I really want Seattle to win, just like Matthew, but I didn't pick mine yet. Chicago, I think I'm gonna go with Chicago.
The Chicago Bears for Parker. Matthew.
I think I'll go with Seattle.
Oh, another upset. 3 huge upsets for Matthew this week. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears also. It's in Chicago. That helps a lot.
Of course.
If you had to pick one tie that would happen this week that you think, what game would you pick?
Ooh, that's a good question, Eli. I would think it would be... it would either be the Giants and Cowboys or the Chiefs and Steelers.
I think it would either be I think it's a lot. I think it'd probably be Indianapolis, Washington, and probably Miami and the Jets.
I was looking at that too, and we said 1, but we'll both pick 2. And actually, the Patriots and Jacksonville could be a tie.
That could be a tie.
I mean, it's just
same with Minnesota, Green Bay.
yeah. There's so many good games in here that could tie. I wonder what the record would be for most ties in a week.
Yeah, but
That would
then
be-
again, there's like games like the Chargers versus Buffalo.
It's going to be hopefully it would be a blowout. If
yeah,
it's not,
that does
then
not happen.
if it's not a blowout, then the Chargers are not doing it correctly.
Yeah.
My
that's-
two.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matthew.
My two are gonna be Oakland and Denver.
Yeah.
And
New England.
Pittsburgh and Kansas
Yep.
City and New England, Jacksonville,
Okay.
and
Nope,
New
that's
York
good.
and Dallas.
All right. So you're picking all of them to tie.
Well,
yeah.
a lot.
You're fine. Pick 2, Parker. 2
wait.
ties. If you had to pick 2 ties, who would it be?
Wait, two of the.
Yeah. You don't have to.
I think I'm gonna go with Carolina versus Atlanta.
That would be a good
Yeah,
tie.
that's-
Yep.
And Seattle versus Chicago.
Oh, okay. All right.
Upset.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we thank you so much for your pick'ems this week. We'll see how we do, and we'll let you know later this week, probably Thursday or something like that. So, Parker, Matthew, thank you so much. Parker, you want to say goodbye to everyone?
Bye.
All right, Matthew.
Bye.
Bye. All right. He's a little microphone shy. All right, gentlemen, thank you, and we
I
will.
just have one more
Okay.
question. Last week on the other podcast, I just didn't know what to pick.
And that's okay. And
yeah,
because that
that's
was your
okay.
first full time on your podcast,
Yeah.
so now you're going to be better every week.
Yeah. Yep,
All right.
it's gonna be better every week.
It was pretty easy for me.
All right.
It
We'll
wasn't
see.
pretty.
All right. We'll see you boys later, and we'll see you next week on the podcast. All right.
Bye. See you next week.
See ya.
See you next weekend.
Okay. So that was a lot of upsets picked.
Yeah, there was a ton of upsets picked. And that's good though. I mean, you got some variety in there. We all picked some clean sweeps. We all picked some upsets, and it was fun, guys. I thank you so much for the family atmosphere here. We love it. It's fun. It keeps everyone interacting with our family for football pick'ems and fantasy wise. And it's the next generation of podcasters, Eli. I mean,
Yeah.
you're starting that, and listen. When I was at the conference down in Fort Worth,
I think you've told them this, but
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, everyone was so excited that there was an 11-year-old doing podcast with their dad. You know, that's just so cool, and I think it's so awesome because not only if you never do it, at least you're doing it now. And
Yeah.
if you're listening, you have kids, get them on there. Even if it's about Play-Doh, do a Play-Doh podcast, do a Lego podcast, whatever. Just involve your kids with something. And this is something Eli and I have always loved to do is talk sports. We went to a soccer game today for Eli, and all we did was talk sports all the way for the hour
it was
drive.
it was like down to Syracuse. We just talked about like contracts, and
Yeah,
I just like talking about that
Yeah,
stuff.
so
It's fun.
I encourage you all, if you have kids, if they're old enough. I mean, we had 8 and a 6-year-old doing it, so just get them.
5.
Yeah,
at the time.
5. Yeah. So just get them involved. It's awesome. That's my final thought. Make it family. Yeah, you can be professional sometimes, but get your family a podcast.
Yeah.
My wife Amy, she's going to jump on here in a couple weeks, so that's going to be fun and I hope you guys enjoy it. And hopefully you guys
Yeah.
learn something new. Get your latest Nines updates and stuff like that. And if anything, just thank you guys all for listening.
Yeah.
Eli, any final thoughts?
Wow, that was a good final thought.
Are you crying?
No.
No, okay. No,
No.
He's not. I was just joking.
Okay, but yeah, my final thought is more fantasy related, but not that there's anything wrong with that. But, like we said last week, like Geronimo Allison and Randall Cobb and those guys that just went off, don't chase points, like we said last week, and then don't chase injuries, like what I thought happened with Josh Gordon. Like if someone gets injured, don't just cut him right away. Or if, like, Barkley had a bad game, don't just trade him away right away.
Exactly. Here's the thing with the chasing points. I agree with you. Don't chase points. If you do, don't start him the next week because they're not going to have back-to-back good weeks. Like,
Yeah.
pick up Geronimo Allison because he had a hot game, but you're not going to start him this week against Minnesota Vikings. Wait until they play, like, the Lions or the Cardinals or something like that.
Yeah.
Chase the points for your bench. Don't start them until.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Yeah.
better than don't chase the
Yeah,
points.
because you want to get that hot hand, but that hot hand can quickly turn cold to the next 2 games, and then you have to drop him, and he gets hot again.
Yeah, like Doug Martin.
Exactly. Yeah, like Doug Martin. So, Martin, that's going to do it for our podcast. This is going to do it for the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips Podcast, Season 3, Episode 49. I'm Tyler Blasky.
I'm Eli Bosky.
And we tell it how it
Is.